Welcome back to our channel. My name is Cynthia Wakeo, and as usual, I am joined by Pamina Swainaina. And today we're discussing, or rather, we're looking at the communication skills that a leader must have. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So, when we are talking about communication, of course, it's important, but why is it important in leadership?
Now, when you talk about leadership, you're talking about the ability to inspire, the ability to lead a team, and the ability to get the best out of people. So, as such, what is the work of a leader? So, it goes without saying, as a leader, you need to inspire your team. You need to give feedback now and then to the team on how they are performing. You also need to communicate expectations, especially when the relationship is quite new. And also, don't forget, part of leadership is being involved in change management. And whenever there's something that needs changing, how you communicate also matters a lot. So communication then is very important when it comes to leadership at any level. Whether we are talking about just whether someone is a new supervisor, whether it's a CEO who's been with the firm for the last 15 years, or even if it's an accomplished director. So leadership communication skills are very important. And what we need to look at is, if there's no communication, then what happens? What you find is a lot of time there's misinterpretation. So there's what you meant, Cynthia, but I get to perceive it or understand it different because communication did not take place or it was not effective. The other bit is sometimes relationships do suffer. For example, talking about expectations, if I hadn't at the very beginning expressed what my expectations are, let's say when you are joining the organization, then it goes without saying that if you don't deliver and it's my fault because I did not come out clearly on what I expect, then the relationship will definitely suffer. And with that also, then we find that goals are not being met in the organization. Yeah. So just like you said, communication, I believe it's not just a leadership skill, but it's a skill that all of us in the professional world, we need to practice.
Yeah. There are several communication skills, but what do you think is crucial for a leader to possess?
That's a very good question. So I do have, I would say, 6 critical skills, which I believe every leader should have. And I'll briefly describe four of them, and then the last two I'll just state. So the first for me is active listening. And as a leader, you should be able to know when to talk and when to keep quiet and get feedback from the team, get to understand what the team expectation is. So you find at most time, you find the person who has the most formal authority. A lot of times you find they are the people who are talking a lot. You find they are the people who are giving direction. They're not even allowing other people's voices to be heard. So what happens? So if your mode of operation is that way, people tune out. So if you know that Paminas doesn't want to hear my opinion, doesn't want to hear my input, what is the likelihood that you share what's on your mind? You will not. Yeah. So I believe being able to practice active listening is very important, and not just when you have an agenda, but just being free. You remove your biases and just say, okay, I'm the CEO, I'm the manager, I'm the one leading this department, I'm the one leading this company, but I don't know everything. So my team, they also have something to say, they have something to contribute. So I should know this is the time to give instruction, and this is the time to take a back seat and listen. And not just listen, but active listening. Because when you say active listening is where you remove all the opinions and the biases you have, and you have an open mind. Yeah. The second skill is being able to adapt your communication skills. And here the focus is, who am I talking to, and when am I talking to this person? For example, the way I engage an intern is not the same way I'll engage someone who's been with the firm for the last 5 years, someone who I already know the quality of their work, someone who I already understand their working style. The way I engage a new employee is also not the same that I'll engage someone who's been here for the last 20 years. So I need to adapt my communication style to suit the occasion and even the individual. Yeah. So it can be, you can't have a template the same, you can't communicate the same. Yeah. And also, and this is the third skill, is being able to practice transparency. There are many organizations where the staff members, they don't know what's happening. or you only share with them very minimal information, and yet we require them to be on board fully for them to be able to contribute. So if you don't practice transparency, and transparency here doesn't mean that you disclose everything, 100%. No, it just means, am I empowering this person? Am I giving them as much information that can make their work easier so that they can be able to deliver on the goals? But times also, it means also being as open with what is happening. For example, let's say the department or the business is not doing well and there are difficult decisions that have to be made. There's no point in shying away and people coming to know the last week. That's not fair, because people they have obligations. Some of them are parents, they have kids they're taking care of. Some of them have mortgages, they have loans. So even certainty. So common decency demands that you let this person, if there's something that is going to affect this person negatively, then the earlier you engage them, the better. If it's a salary you raise, you can come and call someone and tell them, guess what, I have good news for you. Next month you start earning this much. But if it's anything that will affect them in a negative way, transparency is important. And the other bit is clarity. So being clear and being able to be very quite specific on what you want. And this for me relates to point number 1, where we are looking at the importance of communication. And I said one of the role of communication is being able to communicate your expectations. So here, in terms of expectation, don't tell someone you want them to work hard. Don't tell them you want them to be coming early to work. What is early to work? Is you early 7:30? Is it 6:30? Is it 9? So being specific. What are your KPIs? Do you need this person to sell 1 million shillings? So don't fault this person if they are not meeting your expectation, and it's your fault because you hadn't communicated. So clarity is very important. So for me, I believe those are the top 4 skills when it comes to communication. But the other 2, bonus, like I had said, and these are number 5, being open to receiving feedback. So like I said, you're not a know-it-all. There are instances where you'll also drop the ball once in a while. So agree to be given feedback, even if it's not positive. And lastly, empathy, being able to put yourself in another person's shoes. That's very important, because it's through that where you'll have a better understanding of what they are going through. And then as a reader, you'll be able to know which decision to take. So top of mind, those are the 6 areas that you need to pay attention to when it comes to communication skills.
When you're communicating and you don't have all of those that you've mentioned, I feel it would be very chaotic.
Yes, it will be chaotic, and maybe the question then we need to look at is, how do you develop these skills? And I would say, nowadays there are a lot of resources online. So you subscribing, someone watching this video, they can take the next step of subscribing to our channel, where we address leadership challenges, and we look at how can we empower you as a leader. The other bit is, as a firm, we do offer leadership training. So whether you're looking to empower your seasoned managers, with the leadership skills so that they can get to the next level, you can engage us. If you've also promoted someone to leadership, let's say they're a supervisor, if you've not trained them on leadership skills, you are doing them a great disservice. So immediately you appoint them as a supervisor, before the end of 3 months are over, they should have undergone some form of training on leadership.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and expertise.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you for watching. Is there a point that has stood out for you? Please let us know in the comment. And if there are areas where you feel that Paminas needs to address, please also let us know. I'll see you in the next video.